and throughout while I am streaming. So let's get right into it. Hi everybody, and welcome to another Joseph Morris live show. If you're new here, I am a discussion channel, I'm a speculation channel, and I love getting your tips, and I love showing them on my channel. So if you have any tips, you can find my email in the about section of my YouTube page. And if you're not into Gabby Petito case discussion or theories or any speculation, maybe this channel isn't for you. Please don't send any hate to anybody on my channel. You know, a lot of these sources are sent to me through social media tips. So again, please do not send hate to anybody on my channel. Let's get right into it. I see a lot of people kind of discussing this as already in the chat, but this is, again, if you want to catch up on all my live streams, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you never miss a video. Let's get right into it. I have this. This was sent to me by a social media tip, and I see a lot of people complaining that the photos are from far away. And I just want to clear the air a little bit here. It is taken from far away. This is someone's security camera, and this is the original shot. This is what we're working with here. This guy did report it to authorities. He did report it to the FBI. So this was just kind of second down the line. Again, if you have any sort of tips, please do not just send them to me. Send them to fbi.gov/Petito. But this was basically caught in a place called Ocala, Florida. I don't know where that is. Let me just pull up the map here. But it is about 2.5 hours away from Florida. And if we just want to pull that up right here, this is the sighting of where he was seen. More on that in a bit, but I think it is actually kind of doable given the timelines that, you know, maybe he didn't make it too far. A lot of people are saying, you know, maybe he came out on the in the reserve, walked right in and then walked right out and went somewhere else. You know, is that possible? I think it's possible. That's a lot of people's theories online. Again, theories. This isn't 100% fact. Never claimed to be a factual channel. We're just discussing, you know, possible leads in the case. So if that's not for you, you know, just plenty of other channels. And if it is for you, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. So if I'm looking at this, I try to actually get more photos from the guy that sent it in, but this is all he gave me. This is one right here. This is a close-up of him right here, and someone pointed out something very interesting, and I saw it too actually when I looked at this photo. It looks like he has tattoos. So if you remember correctly, Brian Laundrie has tattoos on his hand. So if again, isolated, it's taken from afar, but you know, I do see some tattoos here on his right hand. You know, it does kind of look like his profile. It does look like his face. And something that was really interesting that someone pointed out was he actually is wearing long sleeves, and which is very bizarre for Florida weather, because Florida weather right now is like really hot. So in Canada we work with degrees, so it's about 30 degrees Canadian weather, and I think that in Fahrenheit that's like, I don't know, 80 degrees. So pretty hot out there. Okay, Google, what's 30 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
30 degrees Celsius is equivalent to 86 degrees Fahrenheit.
86 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, so pretty weird to be wearing, you know, long sleeves in the heat that he's experiencing. And if I just want to pull up his tattoos, this is something that you should be looking out for if you do actually see him, is that he has tattoos on his right-hand side right here. So again, if I look at this image a little bit closer, I do kind of see some markings on his hand. Obviously it's taken from very far away because it's a security camera, but the guy said, like, he was grilled, by the way, online, and he's like, he's positive it was Brian Laundrie. He thought for sure. I mean, what kind of gave it away for him was that he was avoiding every security camera, and he was basically on some back road. This isn't a bike path by any stretch of the imagination. It's like white sandy roads. And the guy was just trying to hide from the security camera. Again, people pointed out that his beard is non-existent. And honestly, like, if I were to be on the run, if I was a fugitive, I would make sure one of the first things I did was try to change my appearance. And what an easy way to do that is using a trimmer to trim my face, because his beard is something that is very apparent about him. So he could very well have shaved that off. So again, I kind of grilled this guy a little bit, and a lot of people did, and he was like convinced it was him. Like, this is why I'm sharing it, because at first I was like, it's really grainy, but the more I look at it, the more I kind of see how you can possibly see that this is Brian Laundrie. Here's another one. This is Ocala, Florida, right here. And so, yeah, it's a little strange, because if I look at his face here, it's quite gaunt, right? It's very gaunt. It's very, he's a skinny guy, and this looks much more skinny. Again, wearing long sleeves in Florida weather, very bizarre. If you're new here, this was taken with someone's security camera, and it was taken from far away. So the guy basically was only working with maybe 20 not even 5 megapixels. So it is very frustrating that this picture is literally looks like it was taken with a potato, but he just thought the guy was acting very suspicious, and he sent it to the FBI. And if I want to actually pull up what the forensic person said here, let me just pull that up right quick. We have the forensic sketch artist said that he kind of actually looks like this, because his face looks very, very like skeleton. And if we want to pull this up, this kind of gives me a chills a bit. Because, I mean, the forensic artist said, oh, well, he would lose a lot of weight. And, I think in this photo on the left here, it looks like he's quite skinny. And honestly, this forensic artist is renowned for her ability to draw people. And I don't know, this is pretty spot on for me when I look at these side by side, and I just kind of imagine what he would look like close up. What I find really interesting about this particular sighting is his ears, because his ears do stick out and they're kind of pointy. And if I look at, obviously it's very pixelated, but if I can just kind of use some imagination here, I can see how his ears are actually very similar too. So again, what are the chances of this guy just riding around in the middle of nowhere in a back road in Florida, on a bike, wearing a sweater, and what looks almost like there's some markings on his hand here, like tattoos, acting really sketchy with a big backpack. I can see how someone would definitely think this was Brian Laundrie. I'm not saying it is, but I could see how, someone would definitely want to report this to the FBI. Again, don't send hate to anybody on my channel. But if it's not for you, plenty of other channels out there. We also have different, someone also pointed this out here, that there was pictures of his bike. I'm going to get into this more in a bit, but it was just basically something else that really broke this weekend was that he actually didn't necessarily live in the Laundrie residence, as everybody likes to say, with Gabby Petito. He actually lived in a condo with Gabby. So everybody thought they lived in that residence all together. That is not true. According to Rose Davis, the best friend, she went on TikTok live and basically clarified that they lived in a condo together. So if I'm looking at this, condo, the condo was just sold in July 30th. And there's actually pictures of the condo on the realtor site. And, if I'm looking at the bike in the photo, I don't see this one as a match, but I think it's kind of compelling that he's known to be a biker. Also, there's another picture of him with the bike as well. And here it is in the garage. Again, this is from their listing. They're trying to actually sell their house currently. And you can actually see inside their house on the listing. And again, there's a bike here. This bike, however, for me, kind of looks a bit, not the same, because the one on the right is a blue one, and then the one on the left appears to be black. But this is where I saved the best for last, because there does appear to be a very similar bike right here. This is from the FBI search, and you can see that there is a bike on the back. And yeah, some people have pointed out that the one leaning up against the side looks kind of similar to this one. They pointed out the spokes. So kind of interesting that there's a very similar looking bike from one of the FBI search photos. But I can see how other people would not think this was him. So I'm not saying this is him. I'm just on here kind of talking about the sighting that was reported that is creating quite some headways in the Brian Laundrie case. So again, this is probably the most compelling image to me, where I do think he looks very similar to Brian Laundrie. I'm just going to read some of your chats right now. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this. That's not the same bike. Candy cane bike. Okay, so I wanted to point out that photo. There's a bike behind the candy cane bike. So when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's a candy cane bike. But this bike, I feel like I'm yelling into the mic right now. There's a bike behind the candy cane bike that people are saying could be it. And when I kind of look at it, it does look like it could be blue. So we'd love to know what happened to this bike. A lot of people, and something that's kind of interesting about this too was why isn't he wearing a mask? If he's trying to hide, and you can see that he has a mask under his face, why wouldn't he put that up if he was trying to hide? I mean, one of the things that's kind of working in his favor right now is the fact that there is some people out there that, you can be walking around in a mask and no one would bat an eye. So very, very interesting that he's not wearing a mask. Again, I don't know if I would say this was him or not. I see a lot of people, wrong chin, you are yelling into the mic. Yes, thank you so much. I love, okay, so let me just turn down my mic a little bit. I am yelling down into the mic. Okay, there we go. I think that's a bit better. There we go. There we go. Yeah. See, when I turn it down too low, people are like, I can't hear you. So it's a hit or miss. But getting it back into this, I personally think this is compelling. And I personally think, there is some evidence to suggest that possibly this is him. Just because of the weird behavior and how he was acting and all that stuff. So, I'm on the fence about it. I could go either way. I think everything should be basically considered. And someone wrote this, and I thought this was interesting. Again, please excuse the language here. I didn't have time to really edit this out. But this is a comment sent by the person. He goes, I saw a dude on a bike just like this who was paranoid and acting like he didn't want to be seen 2 weeks ago here in North Florida, near where he was seen in Baker, Florida. Where was this taken and when? So someone else basically corroborated the story that they did see a Brian Laundrie sighting near this sighting. So people are seeing him all over, and it could be that he was, seen all over Florida on this bike. Again, just keeping an eye out for him. That he could potentially be anywhere, including right in his hometown near Florida. So very interesting evidence here. So someone asked, I agree. Wonder if he came back during the trip, cleaned the condo out. Thank you for that comment, Brenda Bassett. Laundries are so cruel, Wendy Schuyler. So yeah, something that's kind of interesting about that condo was that the best friend, Rose Davis, said that they actually didn't live in that residence together. They lived in the condo. So if I'm looking at the condo right here, this condo was sold in July 30th. So here we are. It's someone pointed out that maybe this was Roberta Laundrie in this photo. but it turns out that it's not Roberta Laundrie in this photo. It's somebody else. But allegedly, the Laundrie family lived in this condo together. And someone pointed out the decor here. The decor is absolutely awful. But apparently Gabby Petito and Brian lived in this condo together, and they sold it July 30th. So maybe that had to do something about the storage locker being cleaned out, because they just sold the condo that they lived in. Again, this is something I showed on my channel, but this could have been Brian Laundrie taking these photos. And if you want to look more into the photos here, you can see that there's a bike in them. And there's also this photo here. So this is their condo in Venice. And a lot of the FBI agents are like, well, you know, he's probably going somewhere familiar, and he's very familiar with the Florida area and the Venice area. So yeah, very compelling evidence that he could actually still be in Florida, just trying to evade police and authorities. So I see a lot of people are just like, this ain't him. This ain't him. And okay, you know, Brian Laundrie sightings. I'm not saying this is him. Something that I want to get to though real fast is that there's my phone blew up this morning because of this story. It was basically someone said that they were caught in Mexico, but he's not caught in Mexico. It was just someone basically trolling that he was caught in Mexico, but it was a completely fake story written by a blogger. I had nothing to do with it, surprisingly, but there was a fake story reported this morning where there was a blogger that said he was caught in Mexico. Totally not true. And I don't even want to give that more airtime. But yeah, that was basically 100% made up. And someone mentioned something very interesting about how the families acted. And I just want to get into that as well, because there was a nice little special by 60 Minutes Australia where the Laundrie family did call out the Petito family did call out how they were, the Laundrie family was acting very suspicious. So let's get into that.
I think silence speaks volumes. I believe they know probably, if not everything, they know most of the information. I would love to just face-to-face ask, why are you doing this? And just tell me the truth.
If Brian was staying at my house and Gabby returned to my house without him in his vehicle, I'd be on their phone with their parents saying, listen, we got an issue. We got some stuff we got to talk about, like now, call me back. That'd be me. It's torturous. If they do know something and they're not, they're withholding that and they don't want to let us know, and yeah, that's cruel. And if you don't know and you're still not saying something, it's still cruel. And that is my opinion.
Yeah, so that's from 60 Minutes Australia. The full thing is on YouTube, but I just wanted to replay that. I found the information, no offense to 60 Minutes, was very repetitive from what we already knew. But it's always interesting to see the Petito family basically corroborate what we say on this channel a lot, was that the Laundrie family aren't speaking, they aren't helping the investigation, they aren't telling where their son is. They didn't even report Gabby Petito missing. So it is pretty obvious to me that they're not really helping the investigation. And the word that the interviewer said was, oh, it's cruel. And then Joseph Petito, as we saw there, basically agreed that it is cruel what they're doing. They were the last ones to see Brian Laundrie ever, and they're not helping them find Brian Laundrie. I think the Petito family said, oh, it's like when Gabby was missing, we were calling the cops, we were looking for her, we were doing everything. You just see the the Laundrie family basically acting like nothing happened and mowing the lawn. Very bizarre to watch. I lost sleep and I couldn't eat over this case. You see the Laundrie family ordering Dunkin' Donuts and Uber Eats to their front door is absolutely mind-blowing. Their son is missing, and not missing, he's hiding. More on that in a bit. And their daughter-in-law just was murdered, and on that same day that the autopsy guy said that she was strangled, you're just seen, acting like nothing happened, mowing the lawn. Like, guys, like, mind blowing to watch. I mean, yes, they haven't been charged with a crime yet, but in the court of public opinion, they couldn't be more guilty, folks. And that's what my channel has been saying so much. And this is also a nice little clip from 60 Minutes. Where it's like everybody says that he's he's missing. Oh, Brian Laundrie is missing. No, he's not missing. In fact, the Laundrie family doesn't care to find him. They were only asked to help find him on the Florida Reserve, the Carlton Reserve, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to try to pronounce the Miyakamachi, but that's what it is. And, we saw him like pointing and acting like, oh, I'm trying to look for my son in the little like John Deere go-kart. But in reality, it seems like he wasn't even trying. He doesn't really care to find his son. So it's not like his son is missing. He's hiding, folks. And let's get into that. So this is something that the Laundrie family said during the 60-minute interview that I thought was quite compelling. I'm going to read your chats while this is playing.
Brian now has been missing himself for a number of weeks.
Hiding.
Yeah.
Can we change missing to hiding? Gabby was missing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other people out there that are missing. He's hiding.
Yeah.
We were up every day and every night until we found Gabby. Are the people that love him doing the same thing for him?
No.
And why not? Because if they were, maybe he would be found by now.
Exactly. So they know, this is my problem with the Laundrie family. They know so much about their son. Even like when I pull up old photos of Brian Laundrie, I'm like, he was a fat kid. Like when he was 14 years old, he was a social outcast and he like was a nerd and he was kind of fat and ostracized. I'm like, that gives so much insight into like his psyche. And like, not even like if the Laundrie family just talked more about Brian Laundrie, more about what he liked to do and like all those things, it could help paint a picture of what this guy is like and help try to find him possibly. Like, I'm not a forensic expert, but I would imagine them sharing as much information with authorities would be a good thing. Like, he's still on the run. He's still out there. He's still hiding. We have no idea where he is. Is he on the Appalachian Trail? Is he in Mexico? Is he in Canada? Is he in the Bahamas? Or is he in Florida, as this sighting is? We don't know. And that's all because the Laundrie family aren't like really helping this investigation. And that's what's so hard about this investigation. We're still sitting here a month later. Yesterday was actually the month anniversary. I got that wrong. I said anniversary once and I got roasted in the comments. Month anniversary or whatever of Brian Laundrie's missing persons report. Brian Laundrie's missing persons report was given on September 17th. He went for a hike in the Miyakamachi Carlton Reserve area on September 13th. So the family waited 4 days to report him missing. I mean, if your son was missing for like a night in the middle of a Florida reserve with alligators, would you necessarily wait 4 days? Also, would you necessarily take the Mustang back to your home, his only means of transportation back to your home? No, you wouldn't. Also, something that's very bizarre about that is the Mustang was actually parked on a side road. It was in the middle of nowhere, some side road. How did they find that Mustang like that? How did they do that? The Carlton Reserve is 30,000 acres. How did the Laundrie family find their Mustang in like an hour when it's like it could have been anywhere? It's mind-blowing. There's something really weird going on. And me and my little doggo here, we smell a rat. Look, she wants to be on camera. Here. Ugh. I always take her for big walks, so we smell a rat. Isn't that right? Okay, back to where I was. So the Laundrie family is cool, and you never think it's going to be you. This is probably the most heartbreaking moment for me from the 60 Minutes special in Australia, where basically, Nicole Schmidt, her biological mother, breaks down over her daughter being missing. And this really made me angry because it's just like, it's one thing for me to be saying this stuff. It's another for a mother to be saying it. So let's get into it.
I hope that she didn't suffer and that she wasn't in any pain.
Just hoping that at that moment,
And that she was in a place that she wanted to be, looking at the beautiful mountains.
it's Something you never think is gonna, you see it.
You never, ever think it's gonna be yours. It's just, it's surreal.
Yeah, that to me was heartbreaking. It gave me chills, honestly. I was actually going to create a video about this because I found it so upsetting. Like, but then I was just like, it's kind of old information. Like, Nicole Schmidt has always been from day one the mother who wanted to find her daughter. And, you know, just hearing this kind of breakdown on 60 Minutes really was just like so tragic for me. And, yeah, just hearing her come out from her own words really like reinvigorated me to help want to find Brian Laundrie and bring justice for Gabby. Very, very hard to watch. And, you know, it was one of the first clips from that 160 Minutes Australia thing. And, you know, it was just really set the tone for the entire episode, honestly, because when you think about it, they have been grieving for, you know, since September 10th almost, or earlier than that. She knew something was wrong with her daughter very, very early on. I think probably around like within the first 5 days, because August 25th was when they last FaceTime, and she received a text message on August 30th. That was the last text message. There was also one on August 27th about Stan. August 30th was no cell service in Yosemite. She knew that those last two text messages weren't from her daughter. It was just like maternal instinct, and she started getting worried. You know, she basically didn't know that they live in New York, right? Nicole Schmidt and Joe, her husband, live in New York. So they didn't know Brian had returned home without Gabby, but she knew something was off. And to think that the family has been grieving for almost a month and a half now and not getting any answers. Remember, if it weren't for Red, White, and Bethune basically blowing the case wide open and telling everybody that they saw the van at the Grand Teton National Park Spread Creek, we could have lost valuable evidence because Gabby Petito's body would have been even more decomposed. It was already sitting out in that Grand Teton National Park for 4 weeks. And at 4 weeks, the body begins to liquefy and starts to become more of a skeleton, and precious evidence like skin and tattoos is being lost. So the idea that during this time, you know, the fiance went back home without his fiance, and they went camping on September 6th and 7th after returning home. And during that time, Cassie also likes to bizarrely state they didn't talk about Gabby at all. I don't believe that for a second. I think they weren't roasting marshmallows and making s'mores around a campground. They were planning his escape, and that's my belief. And I wish the Laundrie family would just start talking. So let me just get right into the next clip here, where it's the last text message and knowing that something was wrong.
Last thing I said to her, my very last sentence was, "I love you." And her last sentence to me was, "I love you too."
Gabby was 22 years old. Her life was stolen from her. She was stolen. She was taken from us.
This was like evil. She was taken. It's somebody else's hand. It's not fair.
Yeah, Amy brings up a really good point here. Thank you so much for all your chats. I don't have time to really read them throughout my live, but I try to when I play videos. So keep that in mind. I'll try to read your chats. I really appreciate that. Amy writes, they took her van. And that's always been my problem from day one of this case, was that Brian Laundrie drove Gabby's van home. Okay. It wasn't his van. From day one, he should have been under arrest for grand theft auto. Instead, they just had very light surveillance on Brian Laundrie. The cops said from September 11th onwards, they were surveilling him. But here's the kicker. No one, I'm Alicia Keys. No one saw him after September 6th back at the Laundrie family residence. No one. They only saw him leave to Fort DeSoto. The cops went on record saying that they never saw him Even when the missing person report was filed about Gabby Petito, no one saw him. The only people that saw him back at the Fort DeSoto campground were the Laundrie parents. And do we believe the Laundrie parents? No, we do not. I think on this channel, I believe Brian Laundrie was long gone September 6th. That's what I believe. September 6th or 7th, he was long gone. And by the time, he made international news of reported missing, he already got a 10-day head start. So, yeah. Any sort of hate you want to direct to people on this channel, direct it at the Laundrie family. Not me, not my sources. So if we want to get right into how people are really angry, I think for me, this really, really brings it home. And it's the protesters. So if I'm looking at, the protests that happened this weekend, I didn't really cover it too much because honestly, I found it kind of boring. There was only like 2 of them. Wow. Thank you so much, Dawn Mary Grasmick. I was bawling 2 minutes into that 60 Minutes Australia episode. So tragic. I can't imagine the anger and frustration that Petito family is going through. My heart breaks for her mother. Yeah. Just hearing it from a mom. Okay. This is literally my problem with a lot of the people that have things against the protesters. It's like, if your child was missing and their fiance's family wasn't speaking and helping you find your child or the man that murdered your child, how angry would you be? And would you appreciate the protesters trying to get them to talk? That's my question to the people that have issues with the protesters. It's like, they're lucky. I'm not saying I would, but they're lucky I'm not like setting their house on fire. Like, they're complaining about, oh, they put pictures up. I'm like, they're lucky I'm not like, doing a lot more than just putting pictures on their house. Like, guys, I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm just saying, like, I would be so angry at that family for not speaking, that they're lucky they're only getting protesters putting up pictures. Like, someone writes here, thank you so much for the super chats. They still could have asked to photograph Brian's body and check him for injuries with his lawyer present. Exactly. Like, they could have done so much, and that's sort of my problem. Someone brought up the van. Amy brought up the van. Thank you so much for that super chat, Rashalyn, and thank you so much, Dawn Mary Grasmick. I really appreciate all your support. It really means a lot to me. Yeah, they could have easily just booked him on Grand Theft Auto from the start for stealing Gabby's car, and then just knowing that like a missing persons report was coming eventually, because hello, Gabby was missing from day one of him being back there. So again, there's just so many complexities to this. If you were the Laundrie family and your son came home without his fiance, would you let him go hiking? Would you let him go hiking? Would you let your son that literally came home without his fiance go hiking with your Mustang? I mean, I think no, you would not. You'd be like, son, please stay in your room. You're grounded, and don't go anywhere. You cannot take my car anywhere. Like, just mind blowing that this is even a case right now. And so a lot of people are just like, I just don't think people understand like how ridiculous the Laundrie family has acted throughout this, and are just not really understanding it. But it's like, if you had just a little ounce of empathy towards how they behaved and seeing how the Petito family are taking it and how the Petito family aren't getting answers right now, I think we would all agree, like, everybody has the right to be outraged right now at the Laundrie family. We just want to see Brian brought back and given some sort of like punishment for what he did. I want to see Brian brought back alive so that he can spend the rest of his life in jail, because as we all know, he's an outdoors guy, and spending his life in like a 6-by-6 foot room with concrete walls where he can't smell the fresh air and climb up a mountain, it would be a little bit of consolation, not even close to anything, but it would just kind of make me go to bed at night a bit better. So let's hope he finds alive. But this interview, and I'm trying to get into it, is from a domestic violence survivor from Minnesota. And this is why I do my channel. This is why I love this case. This is why I want people to start talking more about domestic violence and how things could go wrong. and just recognizing the signs. One of the things that is very interesting that I like to bring up on this channel is all her friends knew about how Brian Laundrie used to choke her until she passed out. There's even an Instagram comment on her Instagram that said, or on Brian's Instagram that said, "We know you choke her. Like, we know you choke her to the point of passing out." This was months in advance from this. And the Instagram comment, hold on, let me pull it up. I show this a lot on my channel, but just one more reason to hate the Laundrie family. But let's get into it. I've texted your dad, but I guess Christopher blocked me. Christopher is the dad. Everyone knows about your nasty temper. Tell them about the time you choked her out. Don't worry, Skeletor. We know. This was before, it came out that she was strangled to death. So her being strangled and choked out by her boyfriend was knowledge to both Christopher Laundrie, the dad, as well as to some of her friends. So that is just like, I want to talk about foreshadowing. There you go. Thank you so much for that super chat. You're absolutely right about the family camping trip. It was for him to say bye to everyone and to create a plan. I would have to agree. I would also have to agree that he got a lot of help and he is getting help. Cassie Laundrie basically said he's a mediocre survivalist. So the idea that he's in the Carlton Reserve right now in the swamp with all those crocodiles for, I guess, months now, the Carlton Reserve search has costed $1.6 million of taxpayer money. Hasn't returned anything. CNN said there was a campsite found. That was fake news. There was no campsite being found. They have found nothing on the Florida Reserve. Despite all the rumors, there's nothing found. So I believe on this channel that they are still helping him. I believe the lawyer, Bertolino, knows exactly where he is. I believe because of attorney client privilege, he knows where Brian Laundrie is. And I believe that Brian Laundrie is getting help from the parents on this channel, in my opinion. So yes, just to get right into where, what is going on, we have a domestic abuse survivor talk about why this was so interesting to her.
I feel like I needed to be here for Gabby, basically, because I know what she went through. I know what she went through emotionally, mentally, financially. I know exactly what she went through. She wasn't able to leave. He used all her fears against her while they were out. I mean, he kicks her out of the van and then hangs her backpack on the mirror. That's classic. I've had that done. He probably told her he was going to leave her there. My old relationship, I almost got left in Los Angeles. I almost got left in Wyoming. I almost got left in South Dakota. And I literally would have to beg, no, don't leave me here. You can't leave me here, And that's what he was doing to her with that whole kicking her out of the van and putting her backpack on the mirror. And I know how she was feeling. And I feel like I just had to be here. But I know she couldn't leave. I know she wanted to leave. And I know that she was afraid to say she wanted to leave. And it's classic narcissistic abuse, except he put in the physical with it. So this girl was completely helpless. She was stuck. She was completely stuck, and she knew it in her head that she was stuck. And it hurts my heart because I know how she was feeling. And I couldn't just not do anything. So, and I know that she was, every time the neighbors or whatever saw her getting beat up or yelled at in the front yard, it was probably her trying to leave. And trying to leave out of a relationship like that is the most dangerous part. That's when the people, they get killed. That's when they get killed, and that's why you have to sneak out so you don't have to worry about this person grabbing your ankles, flipping you over, blocking you in, whatever. Yeah, it just breaks my heart.
Yeah, that is so hard to watch. I actually just wanted to pause a little bit there, but it is done. And the interview is a lot longer, but that was the main thing. And, just someone that lived through domestic violence and hearing this story like she has, and just knowing that the signs were all there that he was a very predatory behavior, like him basically pushing her out of the van in the Moonflower Co-op grocery store, and then it was her van, by the way, her van he pushed her out of and took her backpack and hung it on the rear view mirror almost to taunt her, and then threaten to basically drive away and leave her stranded in Utah. That is classic behavior, classic domestic violence behavior. And, thank you so much, Rishalyn. Yeah, it was really hard to watch. Like, I honestly was like, I can't watch this anymore when we were watching that. This moved me so much. I'm from Minnesota, and I feel so close to this case for the same reason. They touched my heart. Thanks for replaying this, Joe. Yeah, it was just really hard to watch because like this case, that's the reason why this case is so popular, is because so many people have lived through this. And I think when you look at this case, you look back, at least I look back on my life, and I'm like, I've been in situations before in relationships when I was younger where things would get very passionate between us, and like something could have went wrong. And you look back on those moments and it's just like, this case has been like, so like, Gabby wasn't as lucky as we were to get out of those situations. Like this could have literally happened to anybody. You see this kind of stuff play out in public. You see two people arguing at a bench and you're in the car and you're watching this couple argue and they get really heated and you feel like rolling down your window and being like, hey, is everything okay? Like, I feel like as a society, we're getting a little bit better, hopefully, after this huge tragedy that happened, to really recognize those signs and make it okay for you to be nosy about other people's relationships that looks like it's going wrong, especially in a public area where you see people fighting. We go back to the August 29th restaurant where the Instagram user said that she saw them getting into an explosive fight over money at this restaurant, and then he was fighting with all the waitresses. That was the very last time Gabby was ever seen, was at that explosive fight at that restaurant. And I thought the way people acted was like how I would act in that situation. I would just ignore it and hope it to go away. But if you were in that situation and you had stopped to help Gabby in some way and just pull her aside as a stranger, you could have saved her life. Like, you could have been that one restaurant person. I know it sounds ridiculous, but let's just say you saw that happen, and instead of sitting there and ignoring it and hope it goes away, you pulled her aside and you asked her if things were okay and if she needed to have some time apart. And Nicole Schmidt in that 60-minute interview said, I wish she just told me. We look at the body cam footage. All that Nicole Schmidt and me wanted to do when I saw that body cam footage was just jump through the screen and just like give her a hug and help her, because that's what she needed. Her getting blamed for that and gaslit by Brian Laundrie and made to feel like she was the crazy one and she took all the blame is classic domestic abuse behavior. And hopefully we can start seeing police officers and authorities tune into how these situations go. And hopefully it's not just police officers at these traffic stops. Hopefully it's social workers and, another woman at these stops to really recognize the situation, because I feel like a woman in this scenario would have been a huge help, because they would know what Gabby was experiencing. And so it's just very hard to watch. And I just feel like society has really failed Gabby. Thank you so much, Reshalyn. This case capture the world because it could have been so many of us in her position. We are the lucky ones to still be alive, and we want to see justice for the one who didn't make it out. Wow. Yeah. I get chills reading your comments sometimes, but that gave me major chills. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, we're lucky that we made it out alive. And here's the thing, domestic abuse victims rarely rarely get to see justice for themselves and see their abuser being punished. So seeing, having some sort of justice for the person that did this to you is rare. And so a lot of people just see their abusers walking free like nothing has happened. So I don't want that to happen in this case. I want Brian Laundrie to be punished because a lot of abusers get away with it, and he's not going to get away with it. So just back to that story about the domestic violence victim from Minnesota. She put up this sign, and I thought this was kind of poetic. She was the one that put up this sign, and it was facing the lawn. And it says, "What if it was Cassie?" And I think it's relating to if, Cassie has something to do with it. And this has been, on a lot of people's theories and speculation. Someone wrote, "I thought there was a female officer there." Yeah. Unfortunately, the female officer was completely talked over by the men. The female officer was basically dominated by the men and didn't have a chance to speak. And I just want, the police officers that was kept running his mouth during the body cam footage basically consult the only woman there, which he didn't. Yeah, there was a female police officer there, but she did not speak because she wasn't that one police officer just would not shut up. Thank you for that super chat, Overlord. And by the way, her body cam footage was never released. Her body cam footage is the third body cam footage. I don't even know if she had a body cam, but it'd be very interesting to see her footage. I don't understand why people keep taking blurry pictures, grab him by the shirt and beat. Thank you so much, Raphael. Yeah, I just want to point out that Brian Laundrie could be dangerous. We all know that he has anxiety and he's off his anxiety medication. That's the only medication that I know that he has, because it does say that in the body cam footage that he was off his anxiety meds. So he could be dangerous. I don't recommend necessarily approaching him. I think that's the reason why a lot of these photos are taken from far away, is because people are scared of him, and I don't blame them. I mean, I think everybody would be like, oh, I would just tackle him. But honestly, I think I would just be really freaked out and try to just avoid the situation as much as possible. But yeah, Raphael, I really hope you come into contact with him, because I would love to see that happen. Him getting tackled and brought to justice. So this is the sign that the domestic abuse victim left behind. What if it was Cassie? And again, this is a speculation channel. We talk a lot of theories here. But it was very interesting that this sign came back up, because I just wanted to briefly touch on this. This photo has never been debunked and it's never been confirmed, but it's been floating around since day one. And I just wanted to just kind of bring it back into the light. But this is an alleged sighting of Brian Laundrie and Cassie at the Lake Jenny. And actually in the full version, there is what looks like to be Gabby in the photo. And so let me just try to pull that up if I may. If you guys want to give me a second, because I do have it. I just kind of lost the photo somewhere. So if I'm going, two seconds here. So this is basically what if it was Cassie? And I just kind of thought that was interesting, because there was a photo of them basically all together on this trip. And I actually have it right here. Let me just pull it up. This photo was never confirmed or denied by Cassie. And it would be interesting to know if there is some validity to this photo. So this is a photo that's never been debunked or confirmed, but it appears to show Gabby Petito with Cassie and what looks like to be Brian at the Lake Jenny, where the family was just in Wyoming this past weekend on Saturday to pick up the ashes of Gabby, because it was finally released from the autopsy results. More on that in a bit if I can get into that. But it was very tragic to see them basically holding her ashes in Wyoming. But this is Lake Jenny, and this looks like to be Gabby Petito and Brian and Cassie Laundrie. And, there's also this video that resurfaced, and I could play it in a bit, but this was also breaking this weekend, where there was unreleased footage of a passerby, of someone that was in the Zion National Park, who captured Brian Laundrie and Gabby. But what's kind of weird about it is that it looks like almost that there was another Cassie Laundrie sighting. Very bizarre. Here, I'll play the video right here. So there they are. I edited it in and slowed it down. Yeah, I see Shauna wrote, this picture has been debunked, but again, like, people just say, oh, it's been debunked, but they don't really show me why it was debunked. Like, how do you know it's debunked? There were several photos actually floating around during the time, and there was like a few that were debunked. For example, there was a couple that were debunked, but this one in particular, I've been following this case forever, and I've never found it to be debunked. So I would just like to know where everybody's getting that information from. This one was debunked. It was around the same time. And so this is like an example of photos early on in the case that were debunked, but I've never seen. See, this one was very, very, very early on. This one on the right has been debunked because we do know that there was other people there. But that one with Cassie or whatever, I've never seen. I've done a lot of research. I've never seen it debunked. I just hear people say it's debunked, but I know there's been a lot of photos that have been debunked, but just not that one in particular. So again, that sign was on the front lawn. And something that's kind of interesting about that particular sign was that, of course, in good old-fashioned Christopher Laundrie actually left his residence in a very rare sighting and snatched the domestic violence victims sign from the front lawn. Yeah, so he went and he grabbed that sign and removed it from his front lawn. This happened on Saturday, but it was just like, it was really funny to see this happen. And to get more into some other my stories that I just wanted to touch on here. The Wyoming, also what happened this weekend was a very personal moment where the ashes were brought from Wyoming back to New York. Very, very sad to see this play out, but this has been development in the case where, the family gets to bring the ashes from Wyoming back to New York. So what's also very interesting was that the coroner that did the autopsy results, he resigned from his position not long after this happened. So you see the ashes being held by Joseph Petito close to his heart, and very, very sad to see. This is the information that I just wanted to debunk on my channel. Some blogger came out with this story. It says, Mexican police confirm Brian Laundrie found in Cancun, Mexico. This is a fake news story. That is just written by some blogger. And it basically blew up my phone this morning because they're like, Brian Laundrie's found in Mexico, because John Walsh and both Dog the Bounty Hunter said that he could potentially be in Mexico. He wasn't found in Mexico. So just wanted to clear that up here. And I have some other little developments here as well. There's some talk about the condo being sold. And it was found out that the condo was through Rose Davis, who does TikTok lives, that she basically debunked a lot of the news stories that they lived in the Laundrie family residence, because as a domestic violence victim said, they used to fight on the lawn a lot. Well, it turns out that they weren't really necessarily at the Laundrie family residence. So maybe Christopher and Roberta didn't know about the abuse that was going on in their household, because Gabby Petito and Brian actually didn't really live at that residence, which I found was interesting. And more on that in a bit, but I just want to get right into this. This is what we don't want to do on my channel is now there's Halloween costumes coming out by like white guys who think they're funny, basically pretending to be dirty laundry. Don't want to give this too much airtime, but this is basically some Halloween costumes about Brian Laundrie on the case that's going on. Don't recommend wearing this during Halloween. Very serious topic, but there is that conspiracy theory that there's a garden bed and Brian Laundrie's hiding in the garden bed. I covered that on my channel. I think that's ridiculous, not fake news story. But just to discuss Rose Davis a little bit here, please don't send hate to anybody on my channel. But I found this very heartbreaking about Rose Davis. Basically going on TikTok and doing an excellent job, just being, helping people clear the air and get rid of some rumors, about her and about the case. And so I found this one video very heartbreaking to watch, and let's just play it right here. She's a grieving best friend, and it really came across, that she was best friends with Gabby Petito, and just watching her, just all this play out on live, it was very heartbreaking. So let's get into it.
Mom went to hug me, and I was like, "Don't touch me." I was on the floor. By the time she could hold me, she was holding me up because my body had given out. I don't want even you guys to have to imagine what it'd be like to hear that about your friend. I don't want anyone to have to imagine that, because that destroyed me. I've woken up to someone dead next to me, but she didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve to be left behind. So, she didn't deserve to be alone. I'm a really ugly crier. But, so it was very hard to find that out, and it was very hard to know she was missing. It made me very angry. I broke some things. So, I know my tears I'm sticking them up because I have mascara on from last night.
Yeah, very heartbreaking. A lot of this case is like upsetting, because I can talk to the cows come home about how I, feel about this case, but hearing it from, her best friend about how this case has impacted her is absolutely heartbreaking. Just on the note of the coroner who conducted the autopsy of Gabby Petito, I think someone wrote he didn't resign from his position, but he actually did. So he didn't resign from his position as coroner. He resigned from his position in the hospital. So Teton County coroner resigns from Jackson Hospital due to computer usage. So this is the official story, was that he resigned from the hospital for computer usage. And something I just really wanted to point out that kind of shook me a bit was that the coroner actually had a domestic abuse case against him at one point in his career. So I thought it was very bizarre to have him be, a part of a domestic violence victim's, autopsy. Luckily, there's obviously other people there, I hope. But I just thought that was kind of weird. It says here, obviously people change and whatever, but, this kind of raised a red flag for me. According to a 2014 article by the Jackson Hole News and Guides, Teton County coroner Brent Blue was initially denied a concealed carry permit renewal due to a prior domestic violence arrest involving his then wife. The news outlet reported that in 1999, Blue was arrested for shooting a gun at his then wife's car to stop her from driving away. According to the News and Guide, Blue was charged with a felony aggravated assault before Teton County prosecutor Steve Welchman reduced the charge to a misdemeanor reckless endangerment. So very bizarre to have a guy who conduct the autopsy who was like, may or may not be the most best person for that job. Not saying that he shouldn't be, but I think you guys know what I'm getting at. In my opinion, of course. Phyllis Pendergrass writes, she was most likely miserable and hurting, make you believe you can't live without them. He has probably abused her for years. Yes, Phyllis, thank you so much for reminding us. Unfortunately, these domestic violence cases don't really happen once. It's a pattern of behavior, and just knowing that many people have seen this pattern of behavior, including her friends and family. I think there could have been more. I think society in some ways has failed Gabby from protecting her from her eventual outcome that is so tragic. So yeah, I mean, it isn't necessarily a one-off thing. And this really brings to mind the bruises that we're seeing on her TikTok. Someone commented that this could be like a hickey, but I don't know. I think these are pretty severe bruises. We saw them in the body cam footage as well. We saw the bruises, and it's very clear to me that she has bruises on her arms, on her back, and around her neck. So I think in a lot of ways, society has failed Gabby, and I think we all just need to be a little more sensitive to that this is a very serious thing that happens in society and being aware of it. And so Gabby's life is not taken in vain. I think everybody has started this discussion that this is very real, a real thing. No one should feel ashamed about asking for help. So just want to get that message out there. We also have, so something that is interesting about Rose Davis is that a lot of people complain about her actually still following Brian Laundrie on Instagram. A lot of people say, oh, Brian is still active on Instagram because he's unfollowing people. It's actually because people are blocking him. And when you block someone on Instagram, it causes them to lose a follower. So she still follows Brian Laundrie on Instagram. And this is what she had to say about it. And it's because of her, Brian has sketches of Gabby on her Instagram. Oh, wait. Gabby did sketches that are on Brian's Instagram. So she says the only time she doesn't feel sad about the case is looking at loving memories and good times with Gabby. So this is what she had to say.
Yeah, so that's why I follow him, which shouldn't matter. Instagram, no, I have not posted Gabby on Instagram, but my really cute photos of me in that like white shirt and black shorts and like with the glasses and kicking and stuff like that, she took all of those. Those are actually her clothes that she let me use, and necklace. Well, that shirt's mine, but because she made it for me. But
yeah, it's just really heartwarming to see her talk about her best friend, and just like knowing that like Gabby was such an amazing person that touched everybody's lives in her personal life. It just kind of like makes me like, I get really bogged down by this case and really upset over this case. So knowing that like, people are remembering her as a positive thing, a positive influence in her life is so touching. And again, so a lot of questions about Rose Davis was like, they were supposed to meet in Yosemite, I believe, or don't quote me on that. Not Yosemite, Yellowstone. I get those always confused. And for her birthday, Rose Davis's birthday is, I believe, August 28th, or maybe August 27th or August 29th. Do not quote me on that, but it's around that time. And they were supposed to meet during that time. But, Rose Davis wasn't worried about it because she wasn't, it's van life, and people don't necessarily call them all the time when they say they're going to, because stuff happens, right, on the trip. So that's the reason why she wasn't too worried about it. And she also explains that like Gabby used to not call her on Christmas either, so she wasn't worried. So let's get into that clip.
my birthday to go to Yellowstone, but when you're living van life, you don't always have a set plan. And so she was going to call me on my birthday, and we were going to make a plan from there. She did not call me on my birthday. I wasn't worried in any way. She messaged me late on Christmas too. I was not worried in any way at all. and then I hit a deer. And that was unfortunate timing in my life. And then I told my manager to remind me I need to take time off, because at my job I can the week before be like, I need these 5 days off, sorry. So we went, and she didn't call me. And then literally like a few days later, after telling Felicia, my friend, I mean, hey, I need this time off, this happened. So August 29th. Yeah, no, that's exactly why Brian didn't like me, because he knew I freaking... No, I don't want to keep that job. I deliver pizzas and Domino's. I need to get a new job. But I'm starting to realize what I want to do with my life, which is unfortunate that this is how I am, but I'm gonna... I got some ideas up here. Hook you up with some pizza.
Yeah, so she's just like a normal girl. Like that's, and then it's just so tragic that happened to her best friend, and she was kind of thrown into the spotlight. And I think she really does a good job explaining their relationship, you know, explaining how her not contacting her to meet in Yellowstone wasn't a big deal, because that's just something that happens during van life. So very sweet to watch that stuff. Thank you so much, Joan Marson. Keep up the good work, Grandma Joan. I also got another super chat from Rashelin. Women used to getting choked will put chin to neck to avoid choking. This may be why he grabbed her chin instead of maybe her neck the day with police. Yeah. So there's just so many different things here that people who have been through this would know how to recognize those signs. And so, yeah, that pretty much concludes my my live show. I've been talking for an hour now. If you're new here, you can, if you want to see the sighting that's making headway and breaking news, I put it at the front of my channel. So thank you so much, guys. And I'm just going to read some of your chat. I'm in Ocala. Ooh, thank you so much. They were best friends and was trying to respect Gabby's relationship, even if she didn't like it. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, if you guys want to send hate to anybody on my channel, please don't do that. I will be moderating comments. Leave Rose alone. She's grieving. She was the best friend. And she's really just awesome for going on TikTok and clarifying a lot of the rumors on here. She also brought up a really good point that the FBI and authorities don't consider her a suspect. And you know what? I don't consider her a suspect either for that reason. I think she's just a grieving best friend, and I really appreciate her basically coming on TikTok and answering a lot of our questions about the case. So it's just really awesome to see her do that. So how was Brian seen? And someone brought up the point that Ocala is really close by to Northport here. So we have this right here, Ocala, and then we have Northport. It's kind of interesting because, you know, if we're kind of looking at Sarasota here, this is actually Fort DeSoto right here. And so if I'm looking at this area, I can fully see how he could potentially bike all the way here. I mean, it's not that far to do, especially because he had so much time to get away. It's about a 15-hour bike. So you can go through all the Carlton reserves and Florida reserves and basically go through all the wilderness preserves and make your way up there. I mean, why not? I think that's a very doable plan, especially if he has that big backpack. So yeah, that's the sighting that's making headway. I'm just going to hang out with you guys and read some of your chats. Brian was seen in Ohio over the weekend at hotel. Okay. See, this is why I love reading your chats, because I learned so much. Ohio hotel, Brian. Man, I can't find that. Again, if you have any chat, any tips, please send them to me through Twitter or my email, please, because I actually do a lot of reading. I read all your comments pretty much, good and bad. And so really awesome to just like read all your tips too. I just want to touch on, for those asking about the search for Brian Laundrie, both ends of the reserve has appeared quiet this morning, with the gates have been closed. So it does look like there is some sort of search going on at the Carlton Reserve. It's just quiet. So it's very frustrating. I think a lot of people are getting frustrated with this case, myself included. Just because it's like, there hasn't been too many developments. If you notice, I haven't really did any lives this weekend, and that's literally because it's like hasn't been many developments. And I just want to keep the sighting of Brian Laundrie alive and just keep everybody on the lookout for what he looks like. And I will be reading your chats. I just want to play this video real fast about what he looks like. So this is his duck waddle. People get really angry at me when I call it a duck waddle. Out-toed. This is his out-toed walk. Should have been reading them, Scott. Guys, don't be misled. There's a lot of Florida that has not been developed, and you don't have to go too far. It just depends on what county you are in. I think someone is helping him, Paula R. Yeah, that's a huge theory. Okay, so this is a speculation channel, and we discuss a lot of theories here. It's a discussion channel, so don't be afraid to share your thoughts. But I would have to agree with you, Paula. I'm going to have to agree with you because I believe myself that he is being helped. I believe he's being helped 100%. A lot of people say that potentially he's communicating through the mail, which is kind of funny, but like it also kind of makes a lot of sense. Like he could be very well mailing them letters and them mailing him like gift cards and stuff. It's very easy to do. Like, you know, on the transaction of your credit card, I would just basically say $280.96 at Walmart, let's just say. But 100 of those was for a gift card that they sent to him. So, you know, I don't want to be in trouble for spreading rumors because I have been in trouble for spreading rumors on my channel. So fair warning, these are rumors. But there's this interesting case where potentially the deed of one of their houses was sold to an unknown person. I can't put their name on here, but their address is a P.O. box. So a lot of people are speculating, could he be in this like random house that no one knows where he, you know, lives, this person lives, and could he be hiding away in one of their old houses or condos right now? No one's really following up on that as far as I know. Something Rose Davis said in her TikTok was that the FBI are doing a really good job of they know more than they say they do. They're just very tight-lipped, but they're doing a good job. So, you know, it could be the potential that they do, because here's the thing, okay? The Laundrie family sold a bunch of houses, or I think like 2 actually in the past like 5 years. Don't quote me on that. This is all public information that you can find online. But they sold one of their houses to this person who doesn't actually have a fixed address themselves, but it's a P.O. box. So that's like suspicious. And then they also sold their condo. So if you look online, there's 2 houses that they sold recently in the past 5 years. And the condo was sold on July 30th. So that means when Brian Laundrie flew back home for that August 17th to I think 23rd trip, it's potential that he was emptying out his storage so that the condo could be sold. So there's a lot of speculation in terms of who are they selling these houses to. It's all public information. Obviously, I can't tell on my channel who these people are because they're still real people, but you can find that easily online. And basically, people are wondering, could Brian be potentially living in one of these houses still? Could he be potentially living in the condo still? And that's basically the speculation, the rumor mill. Please don't go saying that's factual information because it's not. It's just all speculation. Let me just read some of your... do Brian Laundrie's parents work? So that's a really good question. Thank you so much for that, I actually kind of have, thank you, Down Under Wonder. You're Australian, and I love Australia. Brian Laundrie's parents do, as far as I know, do not work. They're getting everything delivered to them through their, like Uber Eats and like groceries and stuff like that. So they don't leave the house. They don't leave the house either, ever. Now, could they be working from home on their laptops? That's a very big possibility. But we don't know that to be true. They do have a juice business. In the past few years, they've owned juice business shops or something, and it's all public information again. And this guy, nerdy_addict, who I'll potentially link below in my description. I'll also link Rose Davis's GoFundMe and her TikTok because she's so awesome. Like, I just don't like how she's like getting thrown under the bus a lot when she's actually like, I don't know. I love watching her lives. They basically follow through on the juice businesses, and they weren't real addresses. They were PO boxes that led to really random places in New York. So all their addresses, I believe, are in New York because the Laundrie family and the Gabby family, the Petitos and the Laundries, are from New York. And they actually, Gabby and Brian were high school sweethearts, which is really cute. I mean, something that's kind of eye-opening about the one unearthed footage that we have of the Instagram shot was that, Brian did, this is really controversial, but in that Instagram shot, it did look like Brian cared for her, like helping her cross the water. So it's just very tragic all around that this was like kind of young, passionate love that turned really bad. I'm not saying that Brian Laundrie's innocent or that it was an accident by any stretch of the imagination. But it's just such a tragic story. Sighting. So what was I talking about? I totally forget. Brian Laundrie in high school looked like this. He was a heavier set social outcast, and honestly, same. I wasn't an outcast, actually. I was, when I was growing up, I was the fat, funny guy. Growing up in elementary school. This picture of him was when he was 14. So I don't know if they were dating during this time. I don't think they were, but it's just kind of interesting that he was a larger kid, maybe a bit bullied. And, for that, because kids are so mean and would bully you just for like carrying an extra 10 pounds. This is what he looked like. And a lot of people are drawing similarities with Chris Watts. I don't know if you guys watched that Netflix special of Chris Watts, where Chris Watts is guilty of like a triple homicide, where he basically smothered his 2 kids and his wife. His wife was also pregnant. Tragic story. But people are drawing a lot of similarities between Chris Watts and Brian Laundrie. I don't know if Chris Watts was a larger kid, but someone commented on this picture being like, so many similarities with Chris Watts. I mean, they looked the same, and also the modus operandi was the same, like smothering, like strangulation, all that stuff was the same. Also, like a lot of people are drawing parallels between Roberta Laundrie and Christopher Watts' mom, because if you actually go back and watch the public information of Christopher Watts' phone calls with his mother denies her son ever being involved in the case at all. So just that kind of like fervently defending their son is something that is draws a lot of parallels with Brian Laundrie. Also, something that's very interesting about Chris Watts and Brian Laundrie is that Brian Laundrie in the body cam footage runs up to the police and starts trying to like be buddies with them. Chris Watts did the exact same thing. There's a Netflix show on, and I watched this and it gives me chills, but you can see Chris Watts basically behaving almost identically to how Brian behaved. Chris Watts like was really buddy with the police, was very like, I don't know what happened, oh my gosh, and just kind of like gaslit the situation. So there is a lot of similarities there, and I thought that was kind of interesting to talk about. Why CW was very heavy and had lost weight recently, and that's the reason for his affair. Yes, thank you, SA. Yeah, see, I'm not too familiar with the Chris Watts case. I only ever watched the Netflix documentary, full disclosure, but I remember actually that being a point. You're jogging my memory. He did lose a lot of weight, and he started an affair with another woman, and I remember that. Yeah, so very, very interesting. Christy Katz writes, innocent till proven guilty. Yeah, and I just really want to point that out, guys. Like nothing has been solidified in this case yet. Brian Laundrie is only a person of interest in the homicide of Gabby Petito, but the coroner basically said she was strangled. Sorry, I have like hair on my nose and it looks like I'm picking up my nose. I'm not. It's my little girlfriend, my sidekick here. Rachel writes, what's his obsession with triangles and the evil eye? Look at the van door stickers, Gabby necklace, tattoo, etc. Yeah, very interesting. Someone said that the stickers on his van resemble how many people he has murdered. And one of them was a butterfly. So it was like foreshadowing, Gabby Petito's murder because Gabby Petito's affiliated with butterflies. But I don't know if I believe all that. There's a lot of like conspiracies about like the all-seeing eye and like how they're at the Zion National Park and Gabby was wearing like a Zion eye shirt, and it's basically like this Illuminati stuff. I mean, I'm a speculation channel, I'm a discussion channel, but even that for me is like way too far. This whole all-seeing eye, and I think early on in the case, there was this like rumor of like the Moab police having a 666 tattoo on their hand. It turned out just to be a Naruto symbol. So it's always nice learning about those different tidbits of information because you actually do end up learning more about the case that way. So not to put, very interesting ideas you have. Thank you for that. Someone wrote MK Ultra, boom. Okay. This case is fun. This case, into some degree, is very interesting, compelling, and there's a lot of theories, and that's what makes this case not fall out of the headlines because there's so many different discussions and theories, and my channel is all about that. Sometimes I get in trouble for that, but hey, if it's not for you, then this channel probably isn't for you. Please hit subscribe and ring the bell if it is for you because that really helps out my channel. What was I saying? Oh, Chris Watts and all that stuff and the similarities. Yeah, very compelling, interesting evidence about how there's a lot of similarities with him and especially his mom and Roberta, kind of being similar. U.S. Marshals, Brian Laundrie, Appalachian Trail. Yeah, so this is the thing that kind of really bothers me about this case is he's only a person of interest, right, in the Gabby Petito homicide. I would like to see Brian Laundrie be, charged on homicide. Thank you. My 10-year-old son pointed out the Naruto symbol right away. Rachel, and thank you so much for all your super chats. The Naruto symbol, everybody's like, oh my goodness, it's like a horror film. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the horror film, The Hills Have Eyes, where it's like the entire town is against this one person. So it's not that. But something that someone said about the police, police are highly, highly involved in domestic violence cases themselves in their personal lives. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting tidbit of information that someone actually gave to me during one of my lives was like, these people are kind of biased towards like supporting men because police officers, statistically speaking, My dog just fell over. Hold up. Hey. Oh, anything can happen during a live show. Oh my goodness. She's all right. Police officers are statistically speaking highly likely to have domestic violence episodes in their home. So not saying that all police officers are, it's just a little interesting tidbit of information, just says like, again, poor puppy. She's all right. She always falls off my bed. at home. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she's okay. She's just like, she's a klutz. I do have to take her for a walk soon. I take her for like morning, lunchtime, after work, and nighttime walks. So she's just tired all the time, and she's kind of a dopey. Does your dog drink? You know what I'm gonna do after this? I'm gonna edit this one part out and like post this on my social media, because that was hilarious. She's all right. She takes a lot of falls in her life. Yeah, she's a sweetheart. That definitely woke her up. She's ready for her walk. Okay. I'm gonna tell you my dog's name actually in a bit. Maybe I'll actually get a vote on the community tab where you guys can like help me name my dog, because like she's brand new. She's we just adopted her like last week, or 2 weeks ago. So she's from a puppy mill. So she's 3.5, and she had a bunch of babies. And they were just done with her, and I was like, I'll take her because I love corgis. I love dogs. She changed my life for the better. How long ago was this sighting of Brian Laundrie? This sighting of Brian Laundrie was posted yesterday. So he posted it I think the day of. So it was yesterday. I was going to hop on here, and everybody's really, really distracted by my dog right now. I was going to hop on here last night and do it, but I just want to get all my information. I have reached out to the person that said the information and asked him for a clearer video. He has not responded to me. So I was just like, I'm just going to come on here and just do it anyway without his permission. What's her name? Happy you saved her. Yeah, it's a corgi. Poor puppy. My doggy sleeps. Aw, your dog is beautiful. Name is Brady. I'm so happy I found you. You're doing a great job. You might be the one who ends up solving the case. My family loves you. Great job. Kudos. That means so much, Phyllis. Thank you so much. Honestly, a lot of these super chats, I'm just going to screenshot and make a collection of them, because you guys are way too nice to me. And I was not expecting this to take off the way it did. Me and my mom, this is actually kind of my mom really likes true crime too, I guess. And I really was the first time I did this, I was like, I'm just going to cam up and it's just going to be me and my mom talking about the case. And next thing you know, there's I don't know how many people here, 5,500 people. And I'm getting hundreds of thousands of views. My mom is now a moderator of this chat. I don't know if she's here right now, but she's the one that basically egged me on to do all these things. So thank you for joining us. It's a family affair. No pressure for names then. All right. No, I really got Daisy May, Sicilian Mina, Daisy May. Oh gosh. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to actually probably get you guys to vote on my dog's name. That's incredible video of you, Gabby. Yes. Thousands. Hey mom. Did you get my message on Twitter and look that up? I will. Let me just check my Twitter real quick and see if I can find it. Thank you so much for that super chat. I have oh my goodness. Are you Judy Mayer? No. Katrina Miller. I recognize you. Thank you so much for tuning into my I don't think I got your message. I'll check my other Twitter because I have 2 Twitters. No, I maybe not missed your message. Sorry about that. I have a bunch of messages, but I don't see Katrina right now. So if you can resend it, that'd be great. Thank you. Sorry about that. She's Daisy May Corgi. All right. I will take a vote. And I have to walk my dog. My dog is getting very anxious. I would love to hang out with you guys some more. Ooh, Michelle Warden writes, love your fur baby. Congratulations and love that you keep it clear. That is clean opinion on your case. Yeah, I really appreciate that, Michelle Warden. Yeah, I sometimes people will take my word as like, this is factual information. And it's like not meant to be like that at all. It's like, I just want a discussion going about what Brian Laundrie looks like, so that no one, if you do see someone that looks like him, you know the signs to look out for. And that is, you know, his hand tattoos. Obviously he's a bald guy with a beard. I'm not Brian Laundrie. There's a lot of jokes that's like, this guy, Brian Laundrie's hosting a video about Brian Laundrie. No, I'm not Brian Laundrie. Brian Laundrie has hand tattoos, and, you know, he's a lot skinnier than I am. I like to think I'm a little more, you know, bigger than he is. He has a beard, obviously. One thing you got to look out for him is his ears. And I put this in all my... Yeah, thank you so much, Rachel. It's crazy that there's actually people watching me. Okay, so... Yeah, like I'm honestly blown away every time there's like actually people here. So this is his ears. His ears are like elf ears. So that's something that a forensic scientist actually said. Someone who is much smarter than me said that his ears are his defining factor. So he walks like this. He walks like with his feet pointed outwards, like pointed out, like that. And people call it an out-toed walk, but it's more like, ooh, I got another super chat. You're like my favorite channel by far. So entertaining and informative. Love the discussions and all your thoughts on this sad situation. Much love. Wow, thank you so much, Dawn Mary Grasmick. I am going to start capturing everybody's nice little compliments here. Thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate that. Yeah, so, you know, he has that out-toed walk that I just pointed out really awkwardly. And then he has the pointed ears. So, you know, be on the lookout for Brian Laundrie, everybody. I hate to say it, but it looks like it's up to the public to find him because a lot of these sightings aren't really getting followed up. This sighting in particular was reported to the FBI, but there was no follow-up. Thank you so much, Katie. I love the stickers of the corgis and the dogs. That's so cute. So it looks like, you know, everybody should keep an eye out. He could be in the Appalachians. He could be in Mexico. He could be up here in Canada. He could be anywhere. So the more people know about him, the better. And just keep an eye out. He is on the run, I believe. I believe he's not dead. I don't believe he's in the Carlton Reserve. I think the Carlton Reserve today is actually back open to the public. Do not quote me on that. But there's like no activity there, even though all the swamp has receded. There hasn't been much of a search today. So I personally on this channel don't believe he's in the Carlton Reserve. I don't know about you guys, but so he is out there somewhere, guys. So keep an eye out. I do have to walk my dog. I don't want to leave you guys, but I have to walk my dog. And I see there's people dropping off. So again, guys, thank you so much. Name her Trump. Someone wrote, Wayne Maker. So I'm not going to comment on that. That's hilarious. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you do enjoy speculation, theory, discussion, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. That is I appreciate all the super chats, but that is literally the best way to help out my channel. I'm trying to grow my subscriber base, so please make sure you subscribe, ring the bell so you never miss a video. Really love all you guys. I love my mods for keeping this such like a healthy discussion. Thank you, Rachel. You're awesome. Helping keep this healthy discussion where we can all hang out and just like encourage like ideas. And if you have any sort of tips, you can always look on my about page. I have all my social medias there and my Gmail and my my social media accounts where you can send me stuff. And I love reading your tips. I'm sorry if I don't get to respond to every single one, but I love reading all your comments and following up on your leads. So thank you so much, guys, again, for hanging out with me. I hope you guys have an awesome, awesome day. It's a Monday and I love you all. And I'm going to walk my dog. I love you guys. Flower for her name. Doggy needs to potty. Yep. Paul Vest, Emmy, Jesse. I love you guys all. Millie, Baby Yaga. Love you and your furry one. Tracy, Jackie. Oh, thank you, Rebecca. I love you guys.